Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about strength. It doesn't come from lifting weights. It comes from lifting yourself. When life throws punches, a strong woman doesn't fall. She stands taller, fiercer, and wiser. Life is no easy road, but the strong woman, she doesn't just walk it, she conquers it. When the storm hits, she doesn't ask, "Why me?" She says, "Try me." Her struggles are not setbacks, they are setups for comebacks. A strong woman knows the power of no. She knows that not every invitation deserves her presence, and not every battle deserves her fight. Her boundaries are the walls that protect her peace, and she guards them like a queen protects her throne. You cannot tell her who she is because she already knows. Society may try to label her, criticize her, or even tear her down, but her self-worth is built on a foundation no one can shake. She doesn't seek applause. She moves to the rhythm of her own purpose. Yes, she's kind. Yes, she's compassionate. But don't mistake her kindness for weakness. She'll give you her hand if you're falling, but if you try to pull her down, she'll let go without hesitation. A strong woman isn't just surviving, she's thriving. She has dreams, goals, and a fire in her soul that keeps her moving. Even when others doubt her, even when the road gets tough, she keeps going because she knows where she's headed. Here's the real power. A strong woman doesn't need the crowd to cheer her on. She's comfortable in her own company. Alone or surrounded, she's at peace because she's learned to love herself deeply. She doesn't conform to fit into boxes or play small to make others comfortable. She walks into every room like she belongs there because she does. Her authenticity is her superpower, and she doesn't dim her light for anyone. So, to every woman who's fought battles no one knows about, who stood tall when life tried to knock her down, remember this: you are the definition of strength. And the world isn't just lucky to have you in it, it's better because you're here. Keep shining, keep standing, and keep being unapologetically strong. A strong woman is not defined by the ease of her journey, but by the weight of the storms she has endured. Life, with all its unpredictable trials, has tried to break her, but instead, it has shaped her into a force of nature. She doesn't crumble under pressure, she transforms it into power. Each setback, each obstacle, and every heartache becomes a stepping stone for her ascent. Her strength is not in the absence of pain, but in her ability to rise despite it. She wears her scars proudly, not as reminders of defeat, but as symbols of survival. Every scar tells a story of a challenge faced and overcome, a moment when the world thought she would break, yet she stood tall. Those scars are not blemishes, they are badges of honor, earned through perseverance and grit. They are the marks of a life lived with courage, a testament to her refusal to give up. When the odds were stacked against her, she knows that the beauty of her soul lies not in perfection, but in her resilience. When adversity strikes, she doesn't ask for it to stop. She asks for the strength to endure it. Her mind becomes her sanctuary, a fortress fortified by the lessons learned from her struggles. She understands that pain is temporary, but the growth it brings is permanent. Challenges do not intimidate her because she has seen worse and emerged stronger. She knows that life's trials are not a punishment but a test, a way to refine her character and sharpen her resolve. What makes her truly remarkable is her ability to face the darkness without losing sight of the light. She doesn't let fear paralyze her. Instead, she uses it as fuel to move forward. When the world seems to close in around her, she finds a way to breathe, to push forward, and to break free. She doesn't run from her problems, she confronts them head-on, knowing that true strength is not in avoidance, but in courage. Her bravery is quiet yet unyielding, a force that cannot be shaken by circumstances. Even in her hardest moments, she finds the will to keep going. She knows that the strength to rise is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes, it's found in the quiet determination to put one foot in front of the other, even when the weight feels unbearable. She doesn't measure her progress by the speed of her recovery, but by the depth of her perseverance. Her strength is steady, like the roots of a tree that hold firm even in the fiercest storm. And when she rises not just for herself, but for others. Her resilience becomes a beacon of hope for those around her, a living example of what it means to overcome. She inspires others to believe that they too can endure and thrive, no matter how tough life gets. Her strength is not just her own, it becomes a ripple, touching the lives of everyone who witnesses it. A strong woman doesn't simply survive adversity, she transforms through it. She emerges with a deeper understanding of her own power, a greater appreciation for life, and a heart that is both fierce and compassionate. She is proof that resilience is not just about bouncing back, it's about rising higher than before. And through it all, she remains unshaken, unbroken, and undeniably strong. A strong woman understands the value of her time, energy, and emotional well-being. She doesn't seek to please everyone, nor does she feel obligated to say yes to every request or expectation. Instead, she has mastered the art of setting boundaries, recognizing that her peace is her sanctuary and protecting it is her responsibility. Saying no is not an act of defiance for her, it's an act of self-respect. She does so unapologetically because she knows that every yes to others without thought is a potential no to herself. She understands that boundaries are not walls to keep people out, but guidelines that teach others how to treat her. They are rooted in her understanding of her worth and her refusal to allow anyone or anything to disrupt her harmony. These boundaries are not negotiable. They are a reflection of her values, priorities, and the deep respect she has for herself. When she draws the line, she does it with clarity and conviction, knowing it's an act of self-preservation rather than selfishness. A strong woman has learned that not everyone will understand or respect her boundaries, and she's okay with that. She doesn't require external validation to reinforce her decisions. She has made peace with the discomfort of others because she knows that prioritizing her own mental and emotional health is not something to feel guilty about. She doesn't allow guilt or manipulation to sway her resolve. Instead, she stands firm, knowing that she can't pour from an empty cup and that her well-being must come first if she is to show up fully in any aspect of her life. She knows the power of her no. It's a word she wields with intention, not out of malice, but out of wisdom. It's a tool that protects her from overextending herself, from becoming drained or resentful. Her no is not a rejection of others. It's an affirmation of herself. It says, I respect you, but I also respect me. She understands that those who truly care for her will respect her boundaries, while those who don't were never meant to be a part of her life in the first place. Her peace is non-negotiable because she knows what happens when she compromises it. She's been there before, burnt out, overwhelmed, and emotionally depleted because she allowed others to overstep. But those experiences taught her a valuable lesson. Peace is priceless. It's the foundation of her strength, her clarity, and her ability to navigate life with purpose. Without it, she cannot thrive. And so she guards it fiercely, not out of fear, but out of love for herself. In relationships, she sets the tone early, making it clear what she will and will not tolerate. She communicates her boundaries with grace, but without hesitation. She understands that love and respect are not just about giving, they're also about receiving in a way that aligns with her values. She doesn't shy away from difficult conversations, knowing they are necessary for maintaining healthy connections. Even in the face of backlash or misunderstanding, she doesn't waver. She has learned that pleasing everyone is a futile pursuit, and the only person she needs to be at peace with is herself. She moves through life with a quiet confidence, knowing that her boundaries are her armor. They are not there to isolate her, but to ensure that her life is filled with meaningful connections, purposeful actions, and a deep sense of fulfillment. A strong woman's boundaries are a testament to her self-awareness and her commitment to living authentically. They allow her to navigate life on her terms, with her peace intact and her heart unburdened. They are her way of saying, "I am worthy, and my well-being matters." And in that, she finds her power, her freedom, and her unshakable strength. A strong woman does not measure her worth by the opinions or validations of others. She has cultivated a deep sense of self-awareness, and this inner clarity serves as the foundation of her confidence. Her value is not dictated by how others perceive her, nor is it dependent on fleeting affirmations from the outside world. She knows her worth because she has taken the time to understand who she is, what she stands for, and what she brings to the table. This sense of self-worth is unshakable, rooted not in ego, but in authenticity. She doesn't chase after approval because she understands its fleeting nature. External validation can be a tempting trap, but she knows that relying on it leads to an endless cycle of trying to please others at the cost of her own happiness. She refuses to live her life based on the expectations or judgments of society. Instead, she creates her own standards and measures her success by her own progress, values, and principles. Her self-worth is not a negotiation. It is a non-negotiable fact of her existence. This confidence is not loud or boastful. It is quiet yet undeniable. It's the way she carries herself, the way she speaks, and the way she chooses to show up in the world. It comes from knowing her strengths, embracing her flaws, and owning every part of her journey. She understands that perfection is an illusion and that true beauty lies in authenticity. By accepting herself as she is, she frees herself from the burden of trying to be someone she's not. Her self-worth empowers her to make choices that align with her values, even when those choices are unpopular. She has the courage to say no to situations, relationships, or opportunities that don't serve her highest good. She doesn't settle for less than she deserves because she knows her value and refuses to compromise it for temporary comfort or acceptance. This unwavering belief in herself allows her to navigate life with purpose and conviction. While she appreciates genuine compliments and encouragement, she doesn't depend on them to feel whole. Her confidence is not a product of external praise. It's a reflection of her inner growth. She has taken the time to cultivate a relationship with herself, to understand her dreams, fears, and desires. This self-awareness gives her a sense of stability that no external validation could ever provide. She knows who she is, and that knowledge is her greatest source of power. Her sense of self-worth also allows her to uplift others without feeling threatened. She celebrates the successes of others because she understands that their victories do not diminish her own. She doesn't engage in comparisons or compete for attention because she is secure in her own path. Her confidence radiates outward, inspiring those around her to embrace their own worth and potential. When faced with criticism or negativity, she doesn't let it define her. She discerns between constructive feedback and baseless judgment, using the former to grow and dismissing the latter with grace. She knows that not everyone will understand or appreciate her, and she's at peace with that. Her worth is not up for debate, and she doesn't feel the need to prove herself to anyone. In her presence, there is a sense of strength and peace that comes from knowing she is enough just as she is. She doesn't seek to conform or to fit into molds created by society. Instead, she boldly embraces her individuality, understanding that her uniqueness is her superpower. Her confidence is a quiet but profound declaration of self-love, a reminder that true worth comes from within. A strong woman chooses self-worth over validation every time because she understands that her value is inherent, not conditional. She doesn't wait for the world to acknowledge her, she acknowledges herself. And in doing so, she becomes a beacon of empowerment, a living testament to the transformative power of self-awareness and self-love. You deserve it. A strong woman possesses the rare ability to balance empathy with boundaries, kindness with self-respect. Her heart feels deeply for others, and her compassion is genuine, but she has learned that empathy does not mean allowing herself to be used or disrespected. She understands that her ability to care for others is a strength, not a weakness, and she wields it with discernment. While her heart may open to understand the pain and struggles of those around her, she knows when to draw the line and let go for the sake of her own well-being. Her empathy is rooted in her understanding of the human experience. She knows what it means to struggle, to feel pain, and to long for kindness. This understanding allows her to connect with others on a profound level. She listens without judgment, offers support without hesitation, and stands by those who need her. However, her compassion is not blind. She recognizes that helping someone does not mean sacrificing her peace or tolerating behavior that undermines her self-respect. A strong woman's empathy is not a license for others to take advantage of her. She has the wisdom to recognize when someone is crossing a boundary or exploiting her kindness. She gives, but she doesn't overextend herself to the point of exhaustion or resentment. She knows that true compassion includes caring for herself, and she refuses to pour from an empty cup. By protecting her energy, she ensures that her kindness remains a strength rather than a source of her own suffering. She understands that letting go is sometimes the most compassionate choice for both herself and the other person. When faced with toxic relationships or unhealthy dynamics, she doesn't cling out of guilt or obligation. Instead, she chooses to walk away with grace, knowing that real love and respect cannot coexist with disrespect. She does so without bitterness, carrying no grudge, but instead with the understanding that letting go is a necessary step for her growth and peace. Her compassion is also coupled with accountability. She doesn't enable destructive behavior or excuse actions that cause harm. She believes in holding people accountable while still offering them grace. She knows that empathy isn't about ignoring the truth, but about approaching it with kindness. She can deliver honesty with care, knowing that sometimes the most compassionate thing she can do is to tell someone what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. A strong woman doesn't see her empathy as a weakness because she has turned it into one of her greatest strengths. She uses it to create meaningful connections, to uplift others, and to bring light into the lives of those around her. But she also uses it to understand herself better. She knows when she needs to rest, when she needs to say no, and when she needs to put herself first. Her compassion starts with herself, and from that foundation, it extends outward to the world. She is not afraid to feel deeply, to cry, or to show vulnerability, but she doesn't let her emotions control her. Her strength lies in her ability to process her feelings without being consumed by them. She knows that feeling deeply is a gift, not a burden, and she treats it as such. Yet she is not ruled by her emotions. She makes decisions with both her heart and her mind, ensuring that her empathy is balanced with wisdom and self-care. To some, her combination of kindness and firmness might seem paradoxical, but to her, it is simply who she is. She doesn't compromise her values or her dignity to please others, and she doesn't mistake her ability to care for others as a reason to endure mistreatment. She leads with her heart, but remains guided by her principles. In her, there is a beautiful balance of strength and compassion. She feels deeply but refuses to let her feelings make her vulnerable to harm. Her empathy is her superpower, but it is one she wields with care and intention. Through her actions, she shows that kindness and self-respect can coexist, and that a heart that feels deeply can also be a heart that knows its worth. A strong woman moves through life with a vision that is both clear and unshakable. She knows who she is and what she wants, and she has the courage to pursue her purpose with unwavering determination. Her vision is not merely a distant dream, it is a calling, a deep sense of purpose that drives her forward no matter what challenges or setbacks come her way. She doesn't wait for the perfect conditions or rely on others to validate her ambitions. Instead, she takes charge of her journey, knowing that her destiny lies in her own hands. Her vision is born from clarity. She has taken the time to understand her goals, her values, and what truly matters to her. This clarity allows her to focus her energy on what is meaningful rather than being distracted by the noise of the world. She doesn't pursue goals for the sake of impressing others or meeting societal expectations. Her drive is deeply personal, fueled by her own passions and beliefs. This intrinsic motivation makes her unstoppable because her purpose is rooted in authenticity. Challenges do not deter her, they strengthen her resolve. She understands that the path to greatness is rarely smooth, but she embraces the obstacles as opportunities to grow. When faced with setbacks, she doesn't see them as reasons to give up, but as lessons to learn from. She adapts, recalibrates, and keeps moving forward with even greater determination. Her courage to keep going, even when the odds seem stacked against her, sets her apart. She knows that success is not about avoiding failure, but about persevering in spite of it. Her drive is matched by her discipline. She is not content with simply dreaming. She puts in the work to turn her vision into reality. She is committed to her goals and takes consistent action, even on the days when motivation feels out of reach. She understands that progress is built through small, deliberate steps, and she is willing to do what it takes to keep moving forward. Her discipline is not rigid or harsh. It is guided by her belief in herself and her purpose. She doesn't shy away from risks or fear stepping out of her comfort zone. She knows that growth often requires taking bold leaps of faith. While others may hesitate or doubt themselves, she takes the initiative, trusting in her ability to navigate whatever comes her way. Her courage is not the absence of fear, but the determination to move forward despite it. She is willing to face uncertainty because she knows that her vision is worth the risk. A strong woman also has the wisdom to seek support and inspiration when needed. She surrounds herself with people who uplift her, who share her values, and who challenge her to be better. She is not afraid to ask for guidance or to collaborate with others who can help her achieve her goals. At the same time, she knows how to stand alone when necessary, relying on her inner strength to keep her moving forward. Her confidence comes from knowing that she is capable of overcoming any challenge, whether she has support or not. Her vision is not just about personal success, it often extends to making a positive impact on the world around her. She is driven by a desire to leave a legacy, to create change, and to inspire others through her actions. Her purpose is bigger than herself, and this gives her an even greater sense of drive. She doesn't just want to achieve her goals, she wants her journey to serve as proof that others can achieve theirs too. In the face of doubt, criticism, or adversity, she stands firm. She knows that her vision may not be understood by everyone, and that's okay. Her confidence doesn't rely on the approval of others. It comes from her unwavering belief in her purpose. She trusts her instincts, listens to her inner voice, and keeps her eyes on the bigger picture. Her vision and drive are the forces that propel her forward, making her a force to be reckoned with. She is not just a dreamer, but a doer, someone who turns ideas into action and challenges into triumphs. Through her determination, she proves that a clear purpose, coupled with courage and resilience, can overcome any obstacle and transform even the boldest dreams into reality. In 2018, her determination led to action. When her family moved to the UK, her life did become a different one, and people joined tribes. Her toughness and stubbornness can overcome any obstacle and transform even the boldest dreams into reality. A strong woman radiates an unshakable inner peace that sets her apart in a world often dominated by external noise and endless distractions. She has learned that her worth is not determined by the opinions, approval, or validation of others. Instead, her sense of self is deeply rooted in an intimate understanding of who she is. This inner peace is her foundation, a steady anchor that keeps her grounded whether she is standing alone or surrounded by a crowd. She has discovered that true wholeness comes from within. Her happiness is not contingent on the approval of others, nor does it depend on circumstances aligning perfectly. She knows that external validation is fleeting and unreliable, often leaving people empty when it fades. Rather than chasing after the opinions of others, she has turned inward, nurturing a relationship with herself that is built on self-respect, self-love, and self-awareness. She is her own sanctuary, a place of calm and strength that no one can take from her. Her peace comes from accepting herself fully, flaws and all. She doesn't strive for perfection or waste time comparing herself to others. Instead, she embraces her uniqueness and understands that her imperfections are part of what makes her human. This self-acceptance allows her to move through life with confidence and ease, unburdened by the need to prove herself. She is content with who she is, and this contentment gives her a quiet strength that is unshakable. Even in the midst of chaos or criticism, she remains calm and composed. She knows that other people's opinions are reflections of their own perspectives, not definitions of her value. When faced with negativity, she doesn't react impulsively or let it disturb her peace. Instead, she responds with grace, choosing to protect her energy and maintain her sense of balance. She has mastered the art of not taking things personally, understanding that her peace is far too valuable to be disrupted by the fleeting judgments of others. Her ability to find peace within herself extends to her solitude. She is not afraid to be alone because she doesn't equate solitude with loneliness. To her, alone time is an opportunity to recharge, reflect, and reconnect with herself. She enjoys her own company and sees it as a chance to nurture her inner world. Whether she is surrounded by people or spending time in silence, she feels at home with herself. Her peace is not dependent on external circumstances, but flows from the wellspring of her inner being. This self-sufficiency does not mean she isolates herself or rejects connection. On the contrary, she values meaningful relationships and understands the importance of community. However, she does not cling to others out of insecurity or fear of being alone. She approaches relationships from a place of wholeness, bringing her authentic self to the table without seeking to fill a void. Her inner peace allows her to give freely and love deeply without losing herself in the process. She has also cultivated the ability to let go of what does not serve her, whether it's toxic relationships, old grudges, or unrealistic expectations. She knows that holding on to these things only disturbs her peace. She chooses to release them, not out of weakness, but out of strength. Letting go is her way of prioritizing her well-being and staying true to herself. She understands that peace is not just the absence of conflict, but the presence of harmony within her soul. Her inner peace is her greatest armor in a world that often seeks to shake it. She remains steady in the face of life's storms, trusting herself to navigate through them with resilience and grace. This unshakable calm is not something she was born with. It is a skill she has cultivated through self-reflection, mindfulness, and a commitment to her own growth. She has learned to quiet the noise around her and listen to the voice within, trusting it to guide her. In her presence, others feel a sense of calm and stability, drawn to the serenity that she embodies. But her peace is not for others to dictate or disrupt. It is hers to protect and cherish. She carries it with her, a quiet reminder of her strength and self-worth. No matter where she goes or what she faces, she knows that her inner peace is her true home, a place she can always return to. And it is this peace that makes her truly unshakable. In conclusion, a strong woman is a powerful force, defined not only by her resilience and inner strength, but by the unwavering sense of peace she carries within. She knows who she is and isn't afraid to show up fully, whether she's alone or in a crowd. Her vision and drive propel her forward with purpose, and her ability to empathize with others is tempered by her strong boundaries and deep sense of self-respect. Above all, she is unshakable in her belief in herself and her worth. She is her own source of validation, finding peace in knowing that her value does not depend on the opinions of others. Thank you for taking the time to reflect on the qualities that make a woman truly strong. May we all continue to embrace these principles, growing in our own strength, compassion, and resilience. Thank you for listening. Let me talk to you about strength. Not just physical strength, but the strength of character. The kind of strength that demands respect without ever uttering a single word. Because when a woman plays games with you, it's not your fists, your wallet, or your charm that will win. It's your composure. You must understand this. Respect begins with you. If you don't respect yourself, no one else will. Women sense that. They don't respond to men who beg or bend just to keep their attention. So the moment you feel someone playing games, ask yourself, am I respecting myself right now? If the answer is no, it's time to make a change. Boundaries are your armor. Let me say that again. Boundaries are your armor. You teach others how to treat you by what you allow. Games can only continue when you play along. But a man with clear boundaries, he doesn't engage in nonsense. He's the kind of man who can say, "This doesn't work for me," and mean it. Now, listen carefully. Confidence doesn't yell, it whispers. When someone is testing your patience or trying to get a rise out of you, don't give in. A confident man doesn't lose his cool. He doesn't let the games control his emotions. He responds with steady strength, not outbursts or desperation. That's power. But here's the kicker. Always try to understand the intention behind her actions. Sometimes it's not about disrespect. It's about seeing if you're really who you say you are. Women admire consistency, stability, and security. If she's testing you, maybe she's just trying to figure out if you're the real deal. So don't be too quick to judge. Observe, don't react. And let me remind you, chasing is for men who don't know their worth. You don't chase someone who is unsure about you. You attract people by being a man with vision, purpose, and self-respect. That's how you draw the right kind of attention. Know when to walk away. If the games cross the line, if they become manipulative or harmful, you have to be strong enough to leave. Walking away doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. Because your value isn't measured by how many people stay in your life, but by how deeply you respect yourself. So fellas, when the games begin, remember this: stay calm, stay confident, enforce your boundaries, and most importantly, don't be afraid to walk away. Respect yourself so much that the world has no choice but to respect you too. That's how you handle it. Self-respect is the cornerstone of a fulfilling life, and it is non-negotiable. It is the quiet force that shapes how the world perceives you and, more importantly, how you perceive yourself. When you hold yourself in high regard, you create a foundation of confidence, clarity, and strength that others cannot ignore. Yet too often people compromise their self-respect in the pursuit of acceptance, validation, or love, not realizing that this sacrifice ultimately costs them far more than they gain. Respecting yourself starts with knowing who you are and what you stand for. It's about understanding your values, your boundaries, and your worth. You must be firm in your belief that you deserve respect regardless of external circumstances. This doesn't mean arrogance or entitlement. It means carrying yourself with dignity. When you compromise your self-respect, whether by tolerating poor treatment, lowering your standards, or betraying your values, you send a silent message to the world: I don't value myself, so why should you? One of the biggest mistakes people make is seeking validation from others while neglecting their own inner approval. The truth is, external validation is fleeting. It might make you feel good for a moment, but it can never sustain you. Only when you validate yourself, when you believe in your own worth, do you achieve true peace and contentment. No one else's opinion of you should carry more weight than your own. When you respect yourself, you stop chasing after validation because you understand that your value doesn't depend on someone else's approval. The way you treat yourself sets the standard for how others treat you. If you allow yourself to be disrespected, people will assume it's acceptable. If you tolerate being taken for granted, others will continue to do so. Respecting yourself means setting boundaries and enforcing them without apology. It means saying no when necessary and standing firm in your decisions. Boundaries aren't selfish, they're essential. They protect your peace, your energy, and your dignity. People may test your boundaries, but when they see that you honor them consistently, they will either learn to respect you or remove themselves from your life. And either outcome is a win for you. Respecting yourself also involves taking care of your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Neglecting yourself, whether by overworking, staying in toxic relationships, or ignoring your health, is a form of self-disrespect. When you prioritize your well-being, you send a clear message to yourself and others: I matter. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect or have everything figured out. It means recognizing that you deserve to invest time, energy, and care into your own growth and happiness. Another aspect of self-respect is integrity. Staying true to your word and your principles. When you compromise your values to please others or to fit in, you betray yourself. Integrity is a powerful form of self-respect because it aligns your actions with your beliefs. People may not always agree with you, but they will respect you for being authentic. Living in alignment with your values brings a sense of pride and fulfillment that nothing else can replace. Respecting yourself also requires letting go of the fear of being alone. Many people compromise their self-respect because they fear losing relationships, but this mindset is a trap. It's better to stand alone with dignity than to stay in situations that diminish you. True connections, whether in friendships, romantic relationships, or professional partnerships, are built on mutual respect. When you respect yourself, you attract people who value and honor you for who you are. You no longer feel the need to cling to relationships that drain you, because you understand that your worth isn't tied to anyone else's presence in your life. Respecting yourself is an ongoing journey. It requires daily choices and consistent effort. It means speaking to yourself kindly, refusing to entertain self-doubt, and believing in your ability to create a life that aligns with your deepest desires. It's about recognizing that you are enough, just as you are. When you respect yourself, you step into your power. You become someone who commands respect, not through force or intimidation, but through the quiet confidence of knowing your own value. Self-respect isn't just about how others treat you. It's about how you treat yourself. It's the foundation upon which all healthy relationships are built. When you respect yourself, you radiate a sense of worthiness that inspires others to respect you in return. You stop settling for less than you deserve, because you understand that your time, energy, and presence are valuable. Self-respect isn't something you demand from others. It's something you embody, and in doing so, it becomes undeniable. The world will treat you the way you allow it to, so never compromise your self-respect. It is the greatest gift you can give yourself, and it will shape the quality of your life in ways you cannot imagine. Boundaries are a critical part of maintaining self-respect and ensuring that your peace remains intact, especially when navigating relationships. A woman testing you is not inherently negative. In fact, it can often be a natural part of getting to know someone, understanding their character, and gauging their intentions. However, there comes a point when testing evolves into manipulation or games, and at that moment, it becomes imperative to establish clear boundaries. These boundaries are not just for her, they are for you. They are a declaration of your values, your self-worth, and your commitment to protecting your peace above all else. When someone tests your patience or pushes your limits, it's a moment of truth. How you respond sets the tone for how they will treat you moving forward. If you allow disrespect, you are signaling that your boundaries are flexible or non-existent. People will only treat you as well as you require them to, which is why establishing boundaries early and enforcing them consistently is so important. Quote, "This doesn't mean being harsh or confrontational. It means being firm, clear, and unwavering in what you will and will not tolerate." Setting boundaries starts with knowing your limits. You must first understand what behaviors are acceptable to you and what crosses the line. This requires self-awareness and a deep understanding of your values. What matters to you? What are the non-negotiables in your life? Once you're clear on these, you can communicate them effectively. For example, if you value honesty, you won't tolerate lies or half-truths. If you value respect, you won't entertain disrespect, even in the form of subtle jokes or passive-aggressive comments. By identifying these lines, you create a framework for how you expect to be treated. Setting boundaries isn't enough. Enforcing them is where the real challenge lies. It's one thing to say you won't tolerate certain behaviors, but it's another thing entirely to act when those boundaries are crossed. Many people hesitate to enforce their boundaries out of fear of conflict, fear of being misunderstood, or fear of losing the relationship altogether. But here's the truth. Allowing someone to repeatedly cross your boundaries doesn't save the relationship, it destroys your self-respect. Enforcing boundaries isn't about pushing people away, it's about making it clear that your peace and dignity are priorities. When a woman tests you, how you respond reveals your strength and character. If she's playing games, you must decide whether the behavior is worth addressing or if it's a sign that this person doesn't respect your boundaries. Not all games are malicious. Sometimes they're rooted in insecurity or curiosity. But when games turn manipulative or disrespectful, you must draw a line. Calmly but firmly communicate your boundary, such as, "I value honesty and directness, so if something is bothering you, I'd rather talk about it openly." Notice the tone. It's not angry or accusatory, it's confident and clear. The key to enforcing boundaries is consistency. If you allow exceptions even once, you weaken the boundary and make it harder to uphold in the future. Consistency sends a powerful message. You mean what you say. People respect those who respect themselves enough to enforce their limits. It's not about punishing others or proving a point. It's about honoring yourself. When someone sees that you are unwavering in your boundaries, they are more likely to adjust their behavior or reveal their true intentions. Enforcing boundaries also means being prepared to walk away if necessary. This is perhaps the hardest part, but also the most empowering. When you establish that your peace and dignity are non-negotiable, you create a space for healthy, respectful relationships to flourish. Walking away isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It shows that you value yourself too much to settle for anything less than respect and mutual understanding. This doesn't mean you stop caring about others. It means you care enough about yourself to protect your well-being. Boundaries are not walls meant to shut others out. They are guidelines that create a healthy dynamic where mutual respect can thrive. When you set and enforce boundaries, you teach others how to treat you, but more importantly, you teach yourself how to treat you. You build confidence, self-respect, and inner peace. You stop tolerating behaviors that drain your energy or undermine your worth. You become the kind of person who commands respect, not through force, but through the quiet power of self-respect. Boundaries are an act of self-love. They are your way of saying, "I value myself enough to protect my peace." And when you protect your peace, you create a life that is not only fulfilling, but also free of unnecessary drama and toxicity. So when games cross the line, don't hesitate to draw those lines. Stand firm, stand strong, and remember that your peace is priceless. When faced with games or tests in a relationship, your greatest power lies in your ability to remain calm, composed, and confident. Emotional reactions, especially when driven by frustration, insecurity, or anger, can lead you down a path of regret and miscommunication. Responding with confidence, not emotion, allows you to maintain control of the situation and ensures that your dignity remains intact. It is a demonstration of strength and self-assurance that commands respect and sets a tone of maturity in any interaction. Emotions are a natural part of being human, but letting them govern your responses can often lead to unintended consequences. When someone plays games with you, the goal is often to provoke a reaction, to test how much power they have over your mood or decisions. Reacting emotionally only gives them what they are seeking, control over your state of mind. Instead of being pulled into the drama, step back and assess the situation with a level head. Ask yourself, is this behavior worth my energy? What is the best way to handle this without compromising my composure? By pausing to think before you react, you shift the dynamic in your favor. Confidence comes from knowing who you are and refusing to let someone else's actions dictate your behavior. It's about understanding that you have the power to choose how you respond, regardless of the circumstances. When a woman tests you or engages in manipulative behavior, staying calm shows that you are not easily swayed or controlled. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It means processing them internally without letting them dictate your outward behavior. Confidence is quiet but undeniable. It speaks volumes without needing to raise its voice. Remaining composed in the face of games also demonstrates emotional intelligence. It shows that you can manage your feelings and approach situations with maturity. Instead of escalating a conflict, you de-escalate it by refusing to engage on an emotional level. For example, if she tries to provoke jealousy by mentioning other men, a confident response might be a calm acknowledgement rather than a defensive outburst. Something as simple as "that's interesting," delivered with a smile, can completely disarm the situation. It shows that you are secure in yourself and unbothered by attempts to rattle you. Another benefit of responding with confidence rather than emotion is that it allows you to maintain clarity and focus. Emotional reactions often cloud judgment, leading to decisions or statements you may later regret. When you stay calm, you can assess the situation objectively and respond in a way that aligns with your values and goals. This clarity enables you to set boundaries, communicate effectively, and make choices that serve your best interests. It also prevents you from being manipulated or drawn into unnecessary conflicts, preserving your peace and energy. Confidence is also deeply rooted in self-respect. When you respond without letting emotions take over, you are affirming to yourself and to the other person that your sense of self-worth is not dependent on their approval or behavior. You are showing that you value your dignity and refuse to let anyone undermine it. This self-respect is magnetic and often inspires others to treat you with the same level of respect. People naturally gravitate toward those who exude calm confidence because it creates a sense of stability and strength. It's important to note that responding with confidence doesn't mean ignoring or tolerating bad behavior. It means addressing it in a way that maintains your composure and ensures that your message is heard. For example, if her actions cross a line, you can calmly express how you feel without resorting to anger or defensiveness. A statement like, "I value honesty and direct communication, so I'd appreciate it if we could address this openly," communicates your boundary while keeping the conversation constructive. This approach is far more effective than reacting with frustration or accusations, which only escalate tension. Responding confidently also places the responsibility for her actions back on her. It forces her to confront her own behavior without being able to shift the blame onto your reaction. When you remain calm and composed, it becomes clear that any drama or conflict is coming from her actions, not yours. This can often lead to a change in her behavior as she realizes that her games are ineffective and unproductive. Staying calm and confident is about preserving your power. Emotional reactions give away your control, while composure reinforces it. By responding with confidence, you show that you are a person who cannot be easily shaken or manipulated. You demonstrate strength, maturity, and self-assurance, qualities that command respect and admiration. In any relationship, these traits set the foundation for healthy communication and mutual respect. So, when faced with games or tests, take a deep breath, hold your ground, and respond with the quiet power of confidence. It is a response that not only protects your peace, but also elevates your standing in the eyes of others. Understanding someone's intentions, especially when they seem to be playing games, is a skill that requires patience, emotional intelligence, and careful observation. When a woman engages in behaviors that feel like tests or challenges, it's crucial not to jump to conclusions or react impulsively. Instead, take a step back and consider what might be driving her actions. In many cases, games are not about malice or manipulation, but rather a reflection of deeper emotions like insecurity, a need for reassurance, or an attempt to gauge your character. Paying attention to her actions and what they reveal about her intentions can help you navigate the situation with clarity and maturity. People often communicate their feelings indirectly, especially when they are unsure of how to express themselves openly. A woman who plays games may not necessarily be trying to manipulate you, but could be testing whether you are trustworthy, dependable, or emotionally stable. For example, she might create scenarios to see how you handle stress or conflict. While these actions might seem frustrating on the surface, they often stem from a desire to understand who you are at your core. Recognizing this can help you respond with empathy instead of irritation. To truly understand her intentions, you must pay close attention to patterns in her behavior. Is she consistently creating unnecessary drama, or does it seem like isolated incidents? Does she act this way in moments of vulnerability, or is it a constant part of how she interacts with you? Observing these patterns can give you insight into whether her actions come from a place of insecurity, fear, or genuine misunderstanding. For example, if she brings up past relationships or tests your reactions to hypothetical scenarios, it may indicate that she is seeking reassurance about your commitment or intentions. In some cases, games can be a reflection of her own insecurities or fears of rejection. If she has been hurt in the past, she may unconsciously test you to determine whether you are different from others who may have let her down. This doesn't excuse the behavior, but it does provide context that can help you approach the situation with understanding rather than frustration. Instead of reacting defensively, you can address the root of her concerns by showing consistency, honesty, and open communication. When you demonstrate that you are reliable and sincere, it can help alleviate her doubts and reduce the need for games. On the other hand, it's important to recognize when games are being used to manipulate or control. While some behaviors stem from insecurity, others may be intentional attempts to gain power in the relationship. This is where discernment becomes critical. Pay attention to how her actions align with her words. Is there a disconnect between what she says and what she does? Does she use guilt, jealousy, or other emotional tactics to provoke a reaction from you? If her behavior consistently undermines your peace or crosses your boundaries, it's essential to address it directly and decide whether the relationship is worth continuing. Communication is key to understanding her intentions. Instead of assuming the worst, have an open and honest conversation about her actions. For example, if you feel like she is testing you, calmly ask, "I notice you've been bringing up certain topics or acting a certain way. Is there something you're worried about or something you want to talk about?" This approach shows that you are willing to engage and understand rather than judge or criticize. It also creates an opportunity for her to express her feelings openly, which can strengthen the connection between you. Understanding her intentions also requires empathy. Try to put yourself in her shoes and consider what she might be feeling or thinking. What fears or insecurities could be driving her behavior? What is she trying to achieve through these actions? Empathy doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior, but it does mean acknowledging that people's actions often come from a place of vulnerability. So, when you approach the situation with compassion, you are better equipped to respond in a way that fosters understanding and resolution. At the same time, it's important to stay grounded in your own values and boundaries. While understanding her intentions is essential, it doesn't mean tolerating behavior that is consistently disrespectful or harmful. If her games become a pattern that undermines your self-respect or peace of mind, it's crucial to address the issue directly. Be clear about what you will and will not accept, and stand firm in your boundaries. This not only protects your well-being, but also sets a standard for how you expect to be treated. Understanding her intentions is about seeking clarity and fostering healthy communication. By observing her actions, identifying patterns, and approaching the situation with empathy, you can navigate the dynamics with maturity and confidence. Whether her behavior stems from insecurity, fear, or a need for control, your ability to stay calm and composed will help you handle the situation effectively. And in doing so, you demonstrate both emotional intelligence and self-respect, qualities that set the foundation for any successful relationship. Chasing someone often stems from a place of desperation or fear, signaling to the other person that you are willing to compromise your worth for their attention. This approach not only diminishes your value in their eyes, but also places you in a position of emotional dependence. To truly gain respect and admiration, you must shift your focus from chasing to attraction. Comes naturally when you embody qualities of strength, purpose, and self-assurance, creating a magnetic presence that draws others toward you without the need for excessive effort. When you chase someone, the underlying message is that you are prioritizing them above yourself. This dynamic can create an imbalance in the relationship, where one person feels overwhelmed by the other's pursuit. Instead of chasing, focus on building yourself into someone who others naturally gravitate toward. This means working on your personal growth, setting meaningful goals, and aligning your actions with your values. When you are focused on your purpose, you project an aura of confidence and independence that is far more appealing than desperation. Desperation is often rooted in a fear of losing someone or missing out on their attention. However, this mindset is counterproductive, as it repels rather than attracts. People are drawn to those who exude security and self-worth, not to those who constantly seek validation or approval. By shifting your mindset from scarcity to abundance, you can break free from the need to chase. Abundance thinking reminds you that there are countless opportunities and connections in the world, and you do not need to cling to any single person for your happiness or fulfillment. Attracting respect and admiration starts with respecting yourself. When you value yourself, you set the tone for how others treat you. This means having clear boundaries and not compromising them to gain someone's attention. For example, if someone consistently disregards your time or effort, walking away demonstrates self-respect. It shows that you are not willing to tolerate behavior that undermines your worth. Paradoxically, this act of walking away can often make you more attractive, as it signals strength and confidence. A key component of attraction is authenticity. People are drawn to those who are genuine and unapologetically themselves. When you chase someone, you may find yourself trying to become what you think they want, losing sight of your true self in the process. Instead, focus on embracing who you are and living in alignment with your values. Authenticity creates a deeper, more meaningful connection than any amount of chasing ever could. Another way to attract rather than chase is by cultivating a sense of purpose. When you are driven by a clear vision or goal, you naturally exude passion and determination. This focus on your mission creates a gravitational pull that draws people toward you. For example, if you are dedicated to your career, hobbies, or personal growth, others will notice your ambition and be inspired by it. Purpose-driven individuals are attractive because they have direction and are not reliant on others to define their worth. Confidence is also a cornerstone of attraction. True confidence comes from within, from knowing your value and being secure in who you are. When you are confident, you don't need to chase because you trust that the right people will recognize and appreciate your worth. Confidence is not about arrogance or superiority. It is about self-assurance and a quiet belief in your abilities. This inner strength makes you stand out and commands respect from those around you. It's important to note that attracting rather than chasing doesn't mean being passive or aloof. It's about being intentional with your energy and efforts. Instead of trying to force connections, you create an environment where connections can naturally flourish. This involves being kind, respectful, and open to opportunities, while also maintaining your independence and self-respect. It's a balanced approach that prioritizes quality over quantity in your relationships. Focus on improving yourself in every aspect of life. Physical fitness, mental clarity, and emotional intelligence all contribute to your overall presence and attractiveness. When you invest in your own growth and well-being, you become someone who is not only appealing, but also inspiring to others. People are naturally drawn to those who are constantly evolving and striving to become the best version of themselves. The difference between chasing and attracting lies in your mindset and approach. Chasing is about trying to convince someone of your value, often at the expense of your dignity. Attracting, on the other hand, is about knowing your value and letting others see it for themselves. It's about being confident in who you are, living with purpose, and respecting yourself enough to let the right people come to you. When you focus on attracting rather than chasing, you not only command respect but also create relationships that are built on mutual admiration and genuine connection. Walking away is one of the most powerful actions you can take when faced with situations that compromise your self-respect. It requires strength, self-awareness, and an unwavering belief in your own worth. Many people stay in situations that are no longer healthy or respectful, fearing loss, rejection, or loneliness. However, staying in such circumstances only diminishes your value and reinforces the idea that disrespectful behavior is acceptable. So they keep repeating it and sending out such instructions to all that is unhealthy and has a greater vibration of your SOS. Walking away is not a sign of weakness. It is a demonstration of immense self-respect and clarity about what you deserve. When someone plays games with you, whether through manipulation, inconsistency, or a lack of respect, it can create confusion and frustration. These behaviors may cause you to question yourself, your worth, or your choices. However, no one has the right to undermine your sense of self. If you find that the games persist, despite your efforts to communicate or set boundaries, walking away becomes necessary. It is a way of saying, I will not allow anyone to disrupt my peace or compromise my dignity. Your value is not determined by someone else's validation or approval. Too often, people fall into the trap of seeking external validation, hoping that someone's attention or affection will confirm their worth. But true self-worth comes from within. It is not something that can be given or taken away by anyone else. By walking away, you reclaim your power and remind yourself that your happiness and self-respect are not negotiable. There is no world in which you shouldn't follow. We truly are fated for our own self-worth, but most importantly, we truly are fated for our own self-worth. You show the world that you refuse to settle for less than you deserve. Walking away also sets a powerful precedent. It teaches others how to treat you and establishes boundaries that protect your emotional well-being. When you tolerate disrespectful or manipulative behavior, you inadvertently signal that such actions are acceptable. On the other hand, walking away communicates that you value yourself too much to engage in toxic dynamics. This boundary not only protects you, but also encourages healthier interactions in the future, whether with the same person or with others. It is important to recognize that walking away does not mean you are giving up or admitting defeat. Rather, it is an act of courage and wisdom. It requires you to prioritize your long-term well-being over short-term emotions. It is a way of taking control of your life and refusing to be a passive participant in situations that do not serve you. Walking away is a choice to invest your energy and time into relationships and experiences that uplift and honor you. There will be moments when walking away feels painful or uncertain. Letting go of someone, even if their behavior has been hurtful, can trigger feelings of loss and doubt. You may question whether you made the right decision or fear being alone. However, these emotions are temporary, while the benefits of walking away are lasting. Over time, you will find that removing yourself from disrespectful situations opens up space for growth, self-discovery, and healthier connections. Walking away also demonstrates emotional maturity. It shows that you understand the importance of self-respect and are willing to make difficult decisions to protect it. People who play games or engage in manipulative behavior often thrive on emotional reactions, seeking to control or destabilize others. By walking away calmly and confidently, you deny them that power. You take control of your narrative and choose to prioritize your peace over engaging in unnecessary drama. Walking away can have a transformative effect on the person who played games with you. When you remove yourself from the situation, it forces them to confront the consequences of their actions. They may come to realize the impact of their behavior and gain a newfound respect for you. However, it is essential to remember that this is not the goal. The purpose of walking away is not to teach someone a lesson, but to honor yourself and prioritize your well-being. Walking away also frees you to focus on what truly matters. Instead of wasting time and energy on games or manipulative behavior, you can redirect your efforts toward personal growth, meaningful relationships, and pursuing your goals. It allows you to invest in yourself and build a life that reflects your values and aspirations. This shift in focus not only enhances your sense of fulfillment, but also attracts people who genuinely respect and appreciate you. Walking away is about taking a stand for yourself. It is about refusing to settle for anything less than respect, honesty, and authenticity. It is about recognizing that you are deserving of love and kindness, not games or manipulation. By walking away when necessary, you demonstrate strength, self-respect, and a commitment to your own happiness. And in doing so, you set the foundation for a life filled with genuine connections and a deep sense of self-worth. In life, respect for yourself must come first. Setting boundaries, responding with confidence rather than emotion, understanding intentions, and knowing when to walk away are all essential steps in navigating relationships with strength and dignity. Never allow games or manipulative behavior to shake your self-worth. Your value is not determined by anyone's approval, but by the respect and purpose you carry within yourself. By embodying these principles, you attract authentic connections and protect your peace, creating a life rooted in self-respect and purpose. Thank you for taking the time to listen, reflect, and grow. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about a moment of truth. A moment when the facade crumbles and reality sets in. The moment when you realize you've lost interest. It's a hard pill to swallow. You feel like you're standing in front of a mirror, staring at a stranger. The person you once were, the person you thought you'd always be, is gone. And in their place is someone who's just going through the motions. But here's the thing, it's okay to lose interest. It's okay to feel like you're stuck in a rut. Because that's when the real work begins. That's when you get to dig deep, to explore, to discover. You see, when you realize you've lost interest, you have two choices. You can either give up, or you can face the music. You can either walk away, or you can take responsibility. And that's what I want to talk about today. Taking responsibility, owning up to your actions, or lack thereof. Because when you take responsibility, you open yourself up to growth. You open yourself up to change. So I want to ask you, what happens when you realize you've lost interest? Do you give up? Or do you face the music? Do you walk away? Or do you take responsibility? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to face the music. I'm going to take responsibility. And I'm going to grow. Because when you lose interest, you don't just lose interest in something, you lose interest in yourself. And that's when the real journey begins, the journey of self-discovery, of growth, of transformation. So let's take this journey together. Let's face the music, take responsibility, and grow. Because when we do, we'll discover that losing interest is not the end, it's just the beginning. Acknowledging the elephant in the room is a crucial step in addressing the shift in interest that has occurred. It's a moment of truth, a moment when we confront the reality of our feelings and take responsibility for our emotions. When we acknowledge the elephant in the room, we create a space for open and honest communication, a space where we can explore the reasons behind our lost interest and work towards rekindling the spark. And speaking of the elephant, we've got to face the veil we've laid down. Recognizing the shift in interest requires a certain level of self-awareness, a willingness to confront our own emotions and desires. It's not always easy to admit when we've lost interest, especially if it's in something or someone that was once very important to us. But ignoring the elephant in the room only leads to more problems down the line. It's like trying to hold water in our hands. The harder we squeeze, the more it slips through our fingers. It's hard for me to say this now, Sly Injury. When we acknowledge the shift in interest, we open ourselves up to a range of emotions. We may feel guilty, ashamed, or anxious about our lack of interest. We may feel like we're failing or that we're not good enough. But these emotions are normal, and they're an important part of the process. By acknowledging our emotions, we can begin to understand the reasons behind our lost interest. There's nothing wrong with having negative emotions, yet to try to dismiss them or banish them, natural emotions are necessary and protect us against uncertainty. Perhaps we've simply grown apart from the person or activity that once brought us joy. Maybe our interests and values have changed, and we're no longer aligned with what we once loved. Or maybe we're just feeling stuck, like we're in a rut and can't find our way out. Whatever the reason, acknowledging the shift in interest is the first step towards making a change. Addressing the elephant in the room directly requires courage and honesty. It means being willing to have uncomfortable conversations, to confront our own flaws and weaknesses, and to take responsibility for our actions. It means being vulnerable, open, and transparent, even when it's hard. But the rewards are worth it. When we acknowledge the elephant in the room, we create a space for growth, for learning, and for transformation. We open ourselves up to new experiences, new relationships, and new opportunities. We give ourselves permission to explore, to experiment, and to try new things. Acknowledging the elephant in the room is not about ignoring our problems or avoiding our emotions. It's about facing them head-on with courage, honesty, and vulnerability. It's about taking responsibility for our lives, our relationships, and our emotions. When we're willing to be vulnerable, it's about creating a space for growth that can lead to profound connections and meaningful conversations. Sharing our personal feelings and thoughts can be intimidating, but it's a crucial step in building trust and fostering open discussion. By being vulnerable, we show others that we're willing to take risks, be honest, and confront our fears. And vulnerability is not about being weak or fragile. It's about being brave and courageous. It takes a lot of guts to share our true feelings and thoughts, especially if we're afraid of being judged, rejected, or hurt. But when we're willing to be vulnerable, we open ourselves up to the possibility of deeper connections and more meaningful relationships. When we share our personal feelings and thoughts, we create a safe space for others to do the same. We show them that it's okay to be vulnerable, that it's okay to not have all the answers, and that it's okay to be imperfect. By being vulnerable, we give others permission to be vulnerable too, and that's when the real magic happens. In a vulnerable space, we can have open and honest discussions without fear of judgment or rejection. We can share our fears, doubts, and insecurities, and we can work through them together. We can support each other, encourage each other, and lift each other up. We can create a community that's built on trust, empathy, and understanding. Vulnerability is not a one-time event. It's a process. It's a journey that requires us to be brave, more relatable, to take risks, more authentic, and to be willing to be hurt. We're not trying to put on a mask or profound growth, pretend to be someone we're not. Connections, we're being more meaningful relationships, and that's what makes us so attractive to others. People are drawn to vulnerability because it's real, it's honest, and it's authentic. In a world that often values strength, resilience, and perfection, vulnerability can be a breath of fresh air. It's a reminder that we don't have to have it all together, that we can be imperfect, and that we can make mistakes. It's a reminder that we're human, and that it's okay to be vulnerable. By being vulnerable, we can create a space for open discussion, for connection, and for growth. We can build trust, foster empathy, and develop deeper relationships. We can be more relatable with concerns, more authentic, and more human. Our natural instinct is often to become defensive. So powerful. We feel like our identity, our work, or our relationships are under attack, and we want to protect ourselves. But defensiveness can be a major obstacle to growth, learning, and effective communication. When we're defensive, we're not listening, we're not learning, and we're not responding in a thoughtful and constructive way. Instead of becoming defensive, we need to learn to listen actively and respond thoughtfully. This means creating space for others to share their concerns and really hearing what they have to say. It means setting aside our own emotions and biases and trying to see things from the other person's perspective. It means asking questions, seeking clarification, and seeking to understand. When we listen actively, we're not just hearing the words, we're also paying attention to the tone, the body language, and the emotions behind the words. We're trying to understand the underlying concerns, needs, and desires that are driving the other person's message. And we're using this information to inform our response. Responding thoughtfully means taking the time to reflect on what we've heard and to consider our response carefully. It means avoiding knee-jerk reactions and instead choosing a response that is thoughtful, empathetic, and constructive. It means being willing to acknowledge our own mistakes and to take responsibility for our actions. And it means being open to feedback and willing to learn and grow. It's more cost prohibitive than it sounds to put the companies first. As a citizen, miners with you. When we respond thoughtfully, we're not just responding to the immediate concern, we're also building trust, strengthening relationships, and creating a positive and supportive environment. We're showing that we value and respect the other person's thoughts, feelings, and opinions, and we're demonstrating our commitment to growth, learning, and continuous improvement. Avoiding defensiveness and responding thoughtfully requires a lot of self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and social skills. It requires us to be aware of our own emotions, biases, and triggers, and to manage them in a healthy and constructive way. It requires us to be empathetic and to be able to see things from the other person's perspective. And it requires us to be open-minded and willing to learn and grow. By avoiding defensiveness and responding thoughtfully, we can create a more positive, supportive, and productive environment. We can build stronger relationships, resolve conflicts more effectively, and achieve our goals more efficiently. And we can become more effective communicators, leaders, and collaborators. Taking responsibility is a crucial step in addressing the loss of interest. It requires acknowledging and owning up to our actions or lack thereof that may have contributed to the situation. This can be a challenging and humbling experience, but it's essential for growth, learning, and rebuilding. When we take responsibility, we're not just acknowledging our mistakes. We're also taking ownership of our role in the situation. We're recognizing that our actions or inactions had consequences, and that we have the power to change and improve. This mindset shift is critical in breaking the cycle of blame, denial, and excuses that can perpetuate the loss of interest. Taking responsibility requires self-reflection and honesty. We need to examine our actions, decisions, and behaviors that may have led to the loss of interest. This can involve identifying patterns, habits, or attitudes that may have contributed to the situation. It's essential to be brutally honest with ourselves, acknowledging our flaws and weaknesses, and taking ownership of our mistakes. When we take responsibility, we're not just focusing on our own actions, we're also considering the impact on others. We're recognizing that our behavior may have affected someone else's feelings, needs, or expectations. This empathetic perspective helps us understand the consequences of our actions and take steps to repair and rebuild. Taking responsibility is not about beating ourselves up over our mistakes or dwelling on past regrets. It's about learning from our experiences, growing from our mistakes, and using this newfound wisdom to improve ourselves and our relationships. When we take responsibility, we're not just fixing the past, we're also shaping the future. In taking responsibility, we're also demonstrating accountability, reliability, and integrity. We're showing that we're committed to our relationships, our goals, and our values. We're proving that we're willing to own up to our mistakes, learn from them, and make amends. This level of accountability builds trust, respect, and credibility with others. Furthermore, taking responsibility helps us develop a growth mindset. We're no longer fixed in our ways, blaming external circumstances or others for our problems. Instead, we're embracing challenges, learning from failures, and using these experiences to grow and improve. This mindset shift enables us to navigate uncertainty, adapt to change, and overcome. Taking responsibility is a vital step in addressing the loss of interest. By owning up to our actions or lack thereof, we're acknowledging our role in the situation, learning from our mistakes, and taking steps to improve. This mindset shift helps us develop accountability, integrity, and a growth mindset, ultimately leading to personal growth, stronger relationships, and a more fulfilling life. Our conscious expectation is important as a leader, regardless of your politics or beliefs. Our family mindset, rekindling the spark in a relationship, can be a challenging but rewarding experience. When we're in a long-term relationship, it's easy to fall into a routine and lose sight of what initially brought us together. But with a little effort and creativity, we can reignite the passion and excitement that once burned brightly. One way to rekindle the spark is to revisit the activities and hobbies that we enjoyed together when we first started dating. This can be as simple as going on a walk, trying a new restaurant, or taking a weekend trip to a nearby city. By revisiting these shared experiences, we can recapture some of the excitement and novelty that defined our early days together. Another way to reignite the spark is to try new things together. This can be anything from taking a cooking class to learning a new language. By challenging ourselves and stepping out of our comfort zones, we can create new experiences and memories that bring us closer together. Communication is also key when it comes to rekindling the spark. When we're in a long-term relationship, it's easy to fall into a pattern of communication that's more functional than romantic. We need to make an effort to connect with each other on a deeper level, to share our thoughts, feelings, and desires. This can involve scheduling regular date nights, writing love letters, or simply taking the time to listen to each other. Surprises can also go a long way in rekindling the spark. Whether it's planning a surprise getaway, cooking a special meal, or simply leaving a sweet note, surprises can help keep the romance alive and create a sense of excitement and anticipation. To these strategies, it's also important to focus on the little things that keep the spark alive. This can be as simple as holding hands, giving each other massages, or just spending quality time together. By prioritizing these small moments of connection, we can create a sense of intimacy and closeness that's essential for a healthy and fulfilling relationship. Rekindling the spark in a relationship takes effort and commitment, but it's worth it. When we make an effort to reignite the passion and excitement that once defined our relationship, we can create a deeper and more fulfilling connection with our partner. We can recapture the sense of adventure and possibility that defined our early days together, and we can build a stronger and more resilient relationship that will last a lifetime. Our purpose is that we spend time together more specifically than ever before, to spend time on filmmaking projects and kissing partners who have made it all the way to communion. Rekindling the spark in a relationship is about creating a sense of connection and intimacy that's essential for a healthy and fulfilling partnership. By prioritizing communication, creativity, and connection, we can reignite the passion and excitement that once burned brightly, and we can build a stronger and more resilient relationship that will last a lifetime. Embracing growth is a mindset shift that can transform our experiences, including the loss of interest in a relationship or activity. When we view the experience as an opportunity for personal growth and self-improvement, we open ourselves up to new possibilities and perspectives. We begin to see that every experience, no matter how challenging or difficult, holds within it a chance for us to learn, adapt, and evolve. This mindset shift requires us to let go of our attachment to specific outcomes and expectations. We must be willing to surrender our need for control and perfection, and instead embrace the uncertainty and unpredictability of life. By doing so, we create space for growth, exploration, and discovery. Embracing growth also requires us to cultivate a sense of curiosity and openness. We must be willing to ask questions, seek feedback, and explore new ideas and perspectives. This involves being receptive to constructive criticism, acknowledging our weaknesses and limitations, and being willing to learn from our mistakes. As we embark on this journey of growth and self-improvement, we begin to develop a greater sense of self-awareness. We gain insight into our values, strengths, and weaknesses, and we begin to understand how these factors influence our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. This increased self-awareness enables us to make more informed decisions, set realistic goals, and develop strategies for achieving them. Embracing growth allows us to develop a sense of resilience and adaptability. We learn to navigate uncertainty, cope with adversity, and bounce back from setbacks. This enables us to approach challenges with confidence, creativity, and a growth mindset, rather than fear, anxiety, or a fixed mindset. Embracing growth fosters a sense of gratitude and appreciation. We begin to see that every experience, no matter how difficult or challenging, holds within it a lesson, a gift, or an opportunity for growth. This mindset shift enables us to approach life with a sense of wonder, awe, and curiosity, rather than frustration, resentment, or disappointment. Embracing growth is a journey, not a destination. It requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to learn and evolve. By viewing the experience of lost interest as an opportunity for personal growth and self-improvement, we can transform our lives, relationships, and experiences in profound and lasting ways. We can emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient, with a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. In conclusion, when we lose interest, it's not the end. It's an opportunity for growth, reflection, and transformation. By acknowledging the elephant in the room, being vulnerable, taking responsibility, rekindling the spark, and embracing growth, we can turn a potentially negative experience into a positive and transformative one. Let's choose to view lost interest as a chance to learn, adapt, and evolve. Let's take ownership of our actions and let's work together to build stronger, more meaningful relationships. Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to help you with this speech. It was a pleasure working with you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. There's a way you carry yourself, a way you move through this life that determines how people see you. And when it comes to relationships, how you act, how you present yourself holds the power to either push someone away or have them coming back. Every single time. Understand this, confidence is your foundation. It's not loud or arrogant. It's quiet, strong, and undeniable. When you walk into a room, people don't notice your outfit first. They notice the way you carry yourself. When you speak, you don't need to shout because your presence alone speaks volumes. Confidence is magnetic. It says, I know my worth, and you better recognize it too. That's the relationship between yourself and speaking. Be understanding, be friendly, respectful, value friendship, and be the voice of reason. Now let's talk about mystery. There's power in not revealing all your cards. Keep people curious. Don't lay your whole life out on the table in the first encounter. The more they think they know about you, the more they'll want to discover. Intrigue leaves an impression, and an impression is what makes them come back. But here's the thing. None of that works if you don't respect yourself. Let me say that again. Self-respect is non-negotiable. If someone crosses a line, you let them know. If someone tries to devalue you, you walk away. When you demand respect, you get it, and if they don't give it to you, you're strong enough to leave. Trust me, they'll notice your absence more than you think. And let's not forget the power of emotional control. Listen, life will throw tests your way, especially in relationships. But the moment you lose control of your emotions, you hand over your power. Stay grounded, stay calm, and never let anyone see you sweat. Because the one who controls their emotions controls the room. Next is purpose. People are drawn to those who have their own path, their own goals, their own ambitions. If your life is full and driven by purpose, you send a message. I don't need anyone to complete me. I am complete on my own. That independence, it's intoxicating. It's the kind of energy that will have a man questioning why he ever let you go. But let's talk about scarcity. What's rare is valuable. When you make yourself too available, you risk being taken for granted. Focus on your growth, your passions, your peace. Make them feel your absence and realize what they're missing. People always come back to what feels rare, what feels special. And if you act like you're one in a million, they'll treat you. Carry yourself with confidence. Maintain your mystery. Respect yourself fiercely. Control your emotions. Live with purpose. And value your time and energy. You act like this, and they'll always return. Not because you're chasing them, but because you've become the person they can't help but come back to. Confidence is not just an attitude, it's a presence, a way of being that transforms the way others perceive you. When you embody confidence, you carry yourself differently. Your shoulders are back, your head is high, and your eyes meet the world with an unwavering gaze. You don't have to say a word. The energy of self-assurance speaks for itself. Men, in particular, are drawn to this because confidence is a silent proclamation of self-worth, and people are naturally attracted to what is valuable. When you know your worth, you don't settle for less. You don't chase validation or approval because you already have it within yourself. This inner knowing radiates outward, creating a magnetic pull. Men notice it not because of how you dress or what you say, but because of how you make them feel in your presence. Confidence is contagious, It inspires admiration, curiosity, and respect. It sets a standard, silently saying, if you want to be in my life, you have to meet me where I stand. Confidence doesn't mean you are arrogant or dismissive. True confidence is rooted in humility. It's the quiet strength of knowing you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't beg for attention or compete for a place in someone's life because you trust that you are enough. This quiet assurance is far more attractive than loud declarations or constant attempts to impress. It's the difference between a candle that flickers and a steady flame that lights the room effortlessly. When a confident person walks into a room, people can feel it. It's in the way they move, the way they hold themselves, and the way they engage with others. There's a sense of ease about them, a calm that draws people in. Men in particular find this irresistible because it signals security and independence. A confident woman doesn't need a man to validate her existence. She chooses to share her life with him because she wants to, not because she has to. That distinction changes everything. Confidence also sets the tone for how you are treated. People treat you the way you allow them to, and when you exude confidence, you naturally command respect. Men are drawn to women who have high standards, who don't tolerate being undervalued or disrespected. When you know your worth, you make it clear, whether intentionally or not, that only those who respect and appreciate you can remain in your life. This isn't about being unkind or dismissive. It's about understanding that your time and energy are precious, and only those who uplift you deserve to share in them. But let's be clear, confidence isn't about perfection. It's not about being flawless or having all the answers. It's about embracing who you are, flaws and all, and standing tall in that truth. Confidence comes from accepting yourself fully, knowing that you are a work in progress and being okay with that. This authenticity is what makes confidence so powerful. It's not about pretending to be something you're not. It's about owning who you are unapologetically. Men are naturally drawn to confidence because it's a rare and valuable quality. In a world where so many seek external validation, someone who is self-assured stands out. Confidence says, I don't need you to complete me, but I welcome you to complement me. It shifts the dynamic from dependence to partnership, from seeking to attracting. It creates a foundation of mutual respect and admiration because a confident person knows how to give and receive love without losing themselves in the process. The beauty of confidence is that it grows stronger the more you cultivate it. It starts with small steps, standing up for yourself, setting boundaries, and pursuing your passions. Each time you honor yourself, your confidence builds. And the more confident you become, the more magnetic your presence is to others. Men are drawn to this because it's refreshing, inspiring, and empowering. They see in you the qualities they admire and aspire to have themselves. Confidence is the quiet force that transforms your relationships, your opportunities, and your life. It's not about being perfect, it's about being real, being strong, and being unshakably you. When you carry yourself with confidence, you set a standard that others can't ignore. You become someone they want to be around, someone they respect, and someone they admire. And that, more than anything else, is why confidence is so magnetic. There's something captivating about mystery, a quiet allure that draws people in without a single word needing to be spoken. When you don't reveal everything about yourself, you create an air of intrigue that leaves others wanting to know more. It's not about playing games or withholding who you are. It's about understanding the value of pacing, the art of revealing yourself gradually. People are naturally curious, and when you allow a little space for that curiosity to grow, you become unforgettable. When someone knows everything about you from the start, the sense of discovery is lost. There's no depth left to explore, no layers to uncover. But when you leave certain things unsaid, you invite others to wonder. You create a spark of curiosity that keeps their attention. They begin to think about you when you're not around, piecing together what they know and imagining what they don't. That lingering thought, the sense that there's more to you than meets the eye, is what keeps you on their mind. Mystery doesn't mean being secretive or aloof. It's about maintaining a sense of individuality and depth. It's about knowing that your story is worth unfolding slowly, like a great book that reveals its plot one chapter at a time. Each layer adds richness, each revelation brings greater connection, and each moment of shared truth feels more meaningful because it wasn't rushed. People appreciate what they have to work for, and mystery ensures they never feel like they've seen all there is to see. When you're mysterious, you hold your power close. You don't feel the need to over-explain yourself or prove your worth to others. Instead, you let your actions speak for themselves. This quiet confidence creates an irresistible energy, one that signals you are secure within yourself. It tells others that while you are open to connection, you don't depend on it. That independence is magnetic, because it shows you value yourself enough to set boundaries on how much of yourself you share and when. Being mysterious also gives you control over the narrative of your life. You decide what parts of your story to share and with whom. This selective sharing builds trust over time, as people realize they have to earn the right to see the deeper, more vulnerable sides of you. It's not about being guarded. You're not hiding who you are. You're protecting your energy and ensuring that only those who truly care about you get to experience the fullness of your heart and mind. There's a balance to mystery that makes it so powerful. If you reveal too much too soon, you risk losing that spark of intrigue. But if you reveal too little, you may seem detached or uninterested. The art lies in knowing when to open up and when to hold back, creating a rhythm that keeps others engaged without overwhelming them. It's about knowing that mystery is not about manipulation. It's about being true to yourself and allowing others to discover who you are naturally in their own time. What makes mystery so compelling is that it invites imagination. When you're not an open book, people are left to wonder about your thoughts, your experiences, your dreams. They start to imagine what it might be like to know you on a deeper level, and that sense of wonder draws them closer. It's a subtle way of creating connection, one that feels organic and genuine. People don't feel pushed or pressured. Instead, they feel intrigued, compelled to learn more. Mystery also adds a sense of elegance and grace to how you carry yourself. You don't overshare or feel the need to fill every silence with words. You're comfortable letting moments breathe, allowing space for reflection and thought. This quiet presence speaks volumes, showing that you are someone who doesn't need constant validation or attention to feel secure. You stand firmly in who you are, and that self-assurance creates a lasting impression. When you embrace mystery, you remind people that connection is a journey, not a destination. You don't rush the process of getting to know someone, nor do you expect them to rush with you. This patience and intentionality create a deeper bond, one built on mutual respect and genuine curiosity. It's a foundation that lasts because it's rooted in authenticity and trust. In a world where so much is shared instantly, mystery is a rare and precious quality. It sets you apart, making you memorable and intriguing. It shows that you value yourself enough to let others earn the privilege of knowing you fully. And in doing so, it leaves them yearning for more, captivated by the thought of what lies beneath the surface. Self-respect is the cornerstone of every meaningful relationship and personal achievement. It is the unshakable foundation upon which your sense of worth is built. A quiet yet powerful statement that says, "I know who I am, and I won't compromise that for anything or anyone." When you prioritize your boundaries and refuse to settle for less than you deserve, you send a clear message, not just to others, but to yourself, that your value is non-negotiable. This act of self-respect becomes the guiding force in your life, shaping how others treat you and how you navigate the world. When you respect yourself, you naturally create boundaries that protect your peace and honor your worth. These boundaries are not walls meant to shut others out, but rather guidelines that define how you expect to be treated. They reflect your understanding that not everyone deserves access to your time, energy, or emotions. By setting these standards, you teach people how to treat you, and you make it clear that your presence in their life is a privilege, not a given. Refusing to settle is a powerful act of self-respect. It's easy to accept less than you deserve, especially when fear or insecurity creeps in. But settling often leads to resentment, frustration, and a diminished sense of self-worth. When you hold firm to your standards, however, you communicate that you are unwilling to compromise your dignity for temporary comfort or approval. This steadfastness is magnetic. People are drawn to those who know their value and won't waver in the face of external pressure. Prioritizing your self-respect also creates a sense of clarity in your life. You no longer waste energy on people or situations that don't align with your values or contribute to your growth. Instead, you focus on what truly matters: your goals, your passions, and your well-being. This focus sends a powerful message. You are someone who values themselves too much to entertain anything that detracts from their purpose. Others notice this, and it naturally elevates how they perceive you. When you uphold your self-respect, you inspire respect from others. People are more likely to take you seriously when they see that you take yourself seriously. This is not about demanding respect through arrogance or force. It's about embodying it through your actions and choices. When you show that you won't tolerate disrespect, dishonesty, or anything less than genuine effort, others rise to meet your standards. They understand that if they want to be a part of your life, they must come with the same level of respect and authenticity that you give to yourself. Self-respect also fosters emotional resilience. When you know your worth, you become less affected by rejection or criticism. You understand that these external factors don't define you, because your sense of value comes from within. This inner strength allows you to navigate challenges with grace and confidence, knowing that you don't need validation from others to feel whole. This resilience is a testament to the power of self-respect, as it protects you from settling for relationships or situations that don't serve you. Another powerful aspect of self-respect is the way it influences your decision-making. When you respect yourself, you make choices that align with your values and long-term goals. You're not swayed by temporary gratification or external pressures, because you understand the bigger picture. This integrity not only benefits you, but also earns the admiration and trust of those around you. People are drawn to individuals who are consistent and true to themselves, and your self-respect becomes a beacon of reliability and strength. Perhaps most importantly, self-respect is an act of self-love. It's a way of affirming that you are worthy of happiness, success, and meaningful connections. By prioritizing boundaries and refusing to settle, you show yourself the love and care that you deserve. This self-love radiates outward, influencing every interaction and relationship you have. It sets the tone for how others treat you, because they see that you won't accept anything less than what aligns with your worth. When you live with self-respect, you don't have to chase validation or approval from others. People naturally recognize your value because you've already recognized it in yourself. This changes the dynamic of your relationships, shifting them from a place of neediness or insecurity to one of mutual respect and admiration. You attract people who appreciate you for who you are, not for what you can do for them or how you can fit into their expectations. Self-respect is non-negotiable because it defines every aspect of your life. It influences how you see yourself, how you treat yourself, and how others treat you. It's a silent but powerful declaration that you are enough, just as you are, and that you won't compromise your worth for anyone or anything. When you prioritize your self-respect, you not only elevate your own life, but also inspire those around you to do the same. This is the ultimate gift of self-respect. It empowers you to live authentically, unapologetically, and with the confidence that you deserve nothing but the best. The ability to control your emotions is one of the most profound strengths you can develop. It's not about suppressing your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It's about mastering the art of responding rather than reacting. Staying calm, composed, and emotionally grounded, even during the most challenging situations, demonstrates a level of inner strength and resilience that few possess. This emotional control not only protects your peace, but also commands respect and admiration from those around you. When you maintain control over your emotions, you create a sense of stability in your life. Challenges, setbacks, or conflicts no longer have the power to throw you off balance because you've built the inner discipline to face them with clarity and poise. People who lack this control are easily overwhelmed, allowing their emotions to dictate their actions and decisions. But those who remain composed under pressure exude an aura of strength that others instinctively trust. They are seen as reliable and capable even in the face of uncertainty. Emotional control doesn't mean you're unfeeling or detached. In fact, it requires a deep awareness of your emotions. You acknowledge your feelings, but you don't allow them to take over. This awareness gives you the ability to pause, assess the situation, and choose your response deliberately. It's in this pause that your power lies. Instead of reacting impulsively, you act with intention, ensuring that your actions align with your values and long-term goals. One of the greatest benefits of emotional control is the clarity it brings. When you're not overwhelmed by anger, fear, or frustration, you can think more clearly and make better decisions. Emotional reactions often cloud judgment, leading to choices you may later regret. But when you remain calm, you approach situations with logic and perspective, allowing you to find solutions rather than dwelling on problems. This clarity not only benefits you, but also inspires confidence in those who look to you for guidance. Controlling your emotions also fosters healthier relationships. Emotional outbursts can damage trust and communication, creating rifts that are difficult to mend. But when you approach conflicts calmly and respectfully, you create an environment where understanding and resolution are possible. Others feel safe to express themselves without fear of escalation, and this mutual respect strengthens the bond between you. Emotional control shows that you value the relationship enough to handle disagreements with care and maturity. Resilience is another hallmark of emotional control. Life is full of unexpected challenges, but when you remain composed, you demonstrate your ability to adapt and persevere. This resilience is not about ignoring difficulties, but about facing them head-on with a calm and steady mindset. It's about understanding that emotions are temporary, and even the most intense feelings will pass if you give them time. This perspective allows you to navigate life's ups and downs without becoming overwhelmed or defeated. In moments of high emotion, staying grounded also protects your energy. Reacting impulsively often drains you, leaving you feeling depleted and regretful. But when you maintain control, you conserve your energy for what truly matters. You're not wasting time on arguments, overthinking, or emotional turmoil. Instead, you're channeling your energy into productive actions that move you forward. This focus is a powerful asset, helping you achieve your goals and maintain your peace of mind. Mastering your emotions also sets an example for others. In a world where emotional reactions often dominate, your calm demeanor stands out. People notice when you handle stress or conflict with grace, and it inspires them to do the same. Your ability to stay composed becomes a source of strength for those around you, showing them that it's possible to face challenges without losing control. This influence extends beyond personal interactions, impacting your workplace, community, and beyond. Developing emotional control takes practice and patience. It requires self-awareness, mindfulness, and a commitment to personal growth. There will be moments when emotions threaten to get the best of you, but each of these moments is an opportunity to strengthen your resolve. Over time, you'll find that staying calm becomes second nature. You'll react less and respond more, creating a life that is not dictated by emotions, but guided by purpose and intention. Controlling your emotions is an act of self-respect. It's a way of protecting your peace and ensuring that external circumstances don't dictate your inner state. It allows you to stay true to yourself, even in the face of adversity, and to make choices that align with your values and goals. This control is not about denying your humanity, but about embracing it fully. Understanding that while emotions are a natural part of life, they don't have to define your actions. When you master your emotions, you unlock a level of strength and resilience that sets you apart. You become someone who is unshaken by the storms of life, someone others look to for guidance and support. This strength is not loud or boastful. It's quiet and steady, rooted in the understanding that true power comes from within. By staying calm, composed, and emotionally grounded, you not only elevate yourself, but also inspire those around you to do the same. Living a life of purpose and independence is one of the most compelling qualities a person can embody. When you are driven by a clear sense of direction and fueled by ambition, you radiate a confidence and completeness that naturally draws others toward you. It sends a message that you are not waiting for someone else to complete you, validate you, or give your life meaning. You've already found those things within yourself. This sense of self-assuredness is magnetic and sets you apart as someone who is truly in control of their destiny. A life of purpose means waking up each day with a reason to move forward. It's about pursuing something that ignites your soul, whether it's a career, a passion, or a mission that aligns with your values. When you live with purpose, you carry an energy that others can sense. It's in the way you talk about your dreams, the way you focus on your goals, and the way you persevere through challenges. People are naturally drawn to this energy because it's inspiring and rare. It reminds them of the power of living with intention. Independence is equally powerful. Being independent doesn't mean isolating yourself or rejecting help. It means recognizing that your happiness, success, and fulfillment come from within. It's about knowing that you are fully capable of handling life on your own terms. This kind of self-reliance builds a foundation of confidence that no external circumstance can shake. When you are independent, you don't seek validation or approval from others. You know your worth, and you act accordingly. This assurance is incredibly attractive because it shows that you are secure in who you are. Purpose and independence go hand in hand. When you are living with purpose, you don't rely on others to fill a void or give your life meaning. You are too focused on your own path to be swayed by distractions or unnecessary drama. This focus doesn't make you selfish, it makes you intentional. You understand that by prioritizing your goals and staying true to your values, you can contribute to the world in a way that is authentic and meaningful. This clarity of purpose creates a sense of direction that others find both admirable and inspiring. Independence also means setting boundaries and protecting your energy. When you know what you want in life, you are less likely to tolerate anything that detracts from your purpose. You don't settle for relationships, jobs, or situations that don't align with your values. Instead, you surround yourself with people and opportunities that uplift and support you. This ability to set boundaries demonstrates a level of self-respect that commands admiration. It shows that you value yourself enough to prioritize your well-being and goals over temporary satisfaction or external validation. Living with purpose and independence also cultivates resilience. When challenges arise, you don't crumble under pressure because you have a strong sense of who you are and where you're headed. You understand that setbacks are part of the journey, and you use them as opportunities to learn and grow. This resilience is a testament to your inner strength and determination. It shows that you are not easily deterred, which makes you someone others can rely on and look up to. When you embody purpose and independence, you also inspire others to do the same. People are naturally drawn to those who live authentically and unapologetically. Your ambition and self-reliance serve as a reminder that it's possible to create a fulfilling life on your own terms. This inspiration doesn't come from preaching or trying to change others. It comes from living as a powerful example. Your actions speak louder than words, and your dedication to your purpose shows others what is possible when they take charge of their own lives. Another important aspect of independence is emotional self-sufficiency. When you are emotionally independent, you don't rely on others to make you happy or feel secure. You take responsibility for your own emotions and find peace within yourself. This doesn't mean you don't value relationships. It means you approach them from a place of abundance rather than neediness. You are whole on your own, and any connection you form is a bonus, not a necessity. This emotional strength is incredibly attractive because it creates a dynamic where relationships are built on mutual respect and shared values rather than dependence. Living with purpose and independence also allows you to cultivate a rich and fulfilling life. You spend your time pursuing what you love, learning new things, and growing as a person. You are not waiting for life to happen. You are actively creating it. This proactive approach to life sets you apart as someone who is fully engaged and committed to making the most of every moment. It shows that you value your time and are not willing to waste it on things that don't serve your higher purpose. Embodying purpose and independence sends a powerful message. You are complete within yourself. You are not searching for someone to save you or fill a void in your life. You have built a life that is fulfilling and meaningful, and that self-sufficiency is what makes you irresistibly attractive. People are drawn to those who know who they are and what they stand for. By living with purpose and independence, you become a beacon of strength, confidence, and inspiration for everyone around you. Scarcity is a fundamental principle that governs how people perceive value. When something is rare, hard to attain, or limited in availability, it naturally becomes more desirable. This concept applies not just to material possessions, but also to human interactions and relationships. When you make yourself less available and focus on your own growth and well-being, you project an air of scarcity that can significantly increase how others perceive your worth. The more elusive and selective you are with your time and attention, the more people come to appreciate and value your presence. The human psyche is wired to desire what it cannot easily have. Think about rare gems or exclusive opportunities. They are coveted precisely because they are not readily available to everyone. The same principle applies to you as an individual. When you are always accessible, overly eager, or constantly seeking others' attention, you inadvertently diminish your perceived value. On the other hand, when you step back, focus on yourself, and prioritize your own goals and needs, you create an aura of mystery and exclusivity. This scarcity makes people see you as someone worth pursuing, someone whose time and energy are not given away lightly. Focusing on yourself is the key to creating this sense of scarcity. When you invest in your personal growth, hobbies, and passions, you shift the focus from seeking external validation to building internal fulfillment. This change in mindset not only enriches your life, but also signals to others that you are independent and self-sufficient. You are no longer chasing attention or approval. Instead, you are living your life on your terms. This self-assuredness naturally makes others curious about you and eager to be part of your world. Creating scarcity also requires setting clear boundaries. People tend to take for granted what is always available, so it's essential to establish limits on your time and energy. This doesn't mean playing games or deliberately ignoring others. Rather, it's about respecting yourself enough to prioritize your needs and only engage with people and activities that align with your values. When you set boundaries, you send a powerful message. Your time and presence are valuable and should not be wasted. This mindset not only protects your energy, but also elevates how others perceive you. Scarcity doesn't mean being distant or aloof to the point of detachment. Instead, it's about being intentional with your presence. When you do engage with others, make those moments meaningful and impactful. People will come to cherish the time they spend with you because it's not something they can take for granted. By balancing availability with selectiveness, You create an environment where others feel lucky to have access to your energy and attention. Scarcity is closely tied to self-respect. When you make yourself too available, especially in relationships, it can signal that you don't value your own time or that you are overly dependent on others for your happiness. This can lead to being undervalued or even taken advantage of. However, when you respect yourself enough to create healthy distance, you demonstrate that you are not someone who will settle for less than what you deserve. Understand that you are in control. You can cancel accounts with any person. This self-respect is incredibly attractive and commands admiration. Focusing on your personal growth also ensures that you remain dynamic and interesting. When you dedicate time to learning new skills, pursuing passions, or achieving goals, you become someone with depth and complexity. This makes others view you as intriguing and valuable, a person they want to know better and invest in. People are naturally drawn to those who are always evolving, and by prioritizing yourself, you keep that sense of growth alive. Scarcity also allows others to reflect on your absence. When you step back and focus on yourself, it gives people the opportunity to miss you. In that space, they begin to appreciate the qualities you bring to their lives and the value of your presence. Absence doesn't just make the heart grow fonder, it reinforces the idea that you are not someone who is readily available to anyone at any time. This sense of rarity heightens their desire to connect with you and makes them work harder to earn your attention. Creating scarcity is not about manipulation or playing hard to get. It's about living authentically and ensuring that your time and energy are spent wisely. It's about recognizing your worth and refusing to give away pieces of yourself to those who do not value them. By doing so, you not only protect your emotional well-being, but also set a standard for how others should treat you. Scarcity creates value because it reminds others that you are not just another person in the crowd, you are unique, independent, and deserving of respect. By making yourself less available and focusing on your own growth, you shift the dynamic from chasing others to being pursued. People value what they have to work for, and when you embody self-respect, independence, and purpose, you become someone whose presence is truly worth cherishing. In life and relationships, the key to being truly valued lies in how you value yourself. Confidence, mystery, self-respect, emotional control, purpose, and the ability to create scarcity all form the foundation of an irresistible presence. When you focus on your growth, establish boundaries, and embody independence, you naturally command respect and admiration. People are drawn to those who know their worth, who refuse to settle, and who live with purpose and intention. By embodying these principles, you don't chase validation, you attract it effortlessly. Your time, energy, and presence are priceless. Treat them as such, and the world will respond in kind. Thank you for taking the time to listen, reflect, and grow. I wish you all the strength, confidence, and clarity to live as the best version of yourself. Stay empowered, and thank you once again.